Liam was only 9 years old. His hands were small, his eyes wide, and he had never been this far from Earth before. The galactic border station was huge. It floated in space like a silver spider, full of noise, strange smells, and creatures he had only seen in books. Traders shouted in alien tongues. Robots moved crates. Lights blinked above every shop. To Liam, it felt like magic. He was supposed to stay close to Aunt Kala. She was part of the Terran trade crew docked at Dock 17. But Liam saw a toy something spinning and glowing in a stall, and he wandered off. Just a minute, he told himself. Just a quick look. He never saw Aunt Kala disappear into the crowd behind him. 5 minutes later, Liam was lost. The voices around him were loud. Some aliens walked on 6 legs. Others had no eyes. He tried to remember the way back, but every hallway looked the same. The smells of hot spice, engine oil, and alien food made him dizzy. Liam didn't cry. He was a spaceborne Terran. He was taught to stay calm. But his hands began to shake. He found a quiet corner near a food stall and sat down. Maybe Aunt Kala would come looking for him. Maybe the crew would call his name over the station speakers. He waited. That's when it happened. A tall man in a black and gold uniform stopped in front of him. He was an Imperial security officer. His face was long and hard, and his eyes held no kindness. "You, human child," the officer said, pointing. "Where are your documents?" Liam blinked. I got lost." "My aunt, silence," the officer barked. "Who sent you? Are you spying for Terra?" Liam stood up, confused and scared. "No, I'm not a spy. I was just looking at toys." The officer grabbed Liam's arm tight. Too tight. A sharp pain shot up Liam's wrist. "Lying creature," the officer growled. "You'll come with me. You'll learn not to sneak into Imperial zones." "I didn't do anything," Liam cried. The crowd around them didn't move. No one helped. Alien vendors looked away. Even the robots ignored it. Then the officer slapped Liam across the face. The sound was loud. Sharp. Liam fell backward, crashing into a stack of supply boxes. A hush spread through the market. A Sarnai merchant lifted his tab and began recording. Slowly, without a word. The officer didn't notice. He stood tall, proud. "This is Imperial space," he said loudly. "Terrans don't rule here." Liam stayed on the floor, his cheek red, breathing fast. "I want my aunt." He whispered. Far away, back at Dock 17. Aunt Kala noticed Liam was gone. Panic hit her like a wave. She searched the corridors, asking aliens, calling his name. Then her tab buzzed. A message. No sender, just a short video. She pressed play. Her heart dropped. The video reached Earth in 17 minutes. The Terran communication AI flagged it as level black priority and sent it straight to the Office of Global Defense. The footage was clear. A human child, struck in the face, publicly, without cause. And the worst part? He had done nothing wrong. The Galactic border station went back to business like nothing had happened. But Earth did not. Not this time. They had warned the galaxy before. Do not touch our children. And this time, someone had crossed that line. The stars were quiet. But in the Sol system, the warship Black Horizon woke from sleep mode. Asterisk. The video of Liam being slapped had spread faster than light. At first, only a few people saw it. Then thousands. Then millions. But none of that mattered. What truly mattered was who saw it. Inside a hidden command center on the dark side of Earth's moon, a quiet voice spoke. Level black protocol triggered. Category: child harm. Target: civilian Terran minor. Action required. Immediate. Across the room, a woman stood still. She wore a black coat. Her name was Director Elara Morn, chief of Earth's off-world security. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands slowly closed into fists. She watched the video once, then again. Then she gave a single nod. "Wake Black Horizon," she said. "No. Public alerts. No council permission. No warnings." Far below, in Earth's orbit, something stirred. A massive warship hidden in Earth's shadow-coded as Project Echo. Vengeance lit up. It had no name on record. Its engines made no sound. But its mission was clear. Protect Terran lives, especially the young. And when one is harmed, burn everything in the way. Captain Raina Voss sat inside the command bridge. She had once been a mother. Her daughter died during a failed peace treaty mission with the Varn Dominion. Since that day, Raina had changed. She didn't speak much. She didn't smile. But when orders came level Black Protocol, she didn't hesitate. "Bring us to jump range," she said quietly, "and load every silencer-class rail cannon. I want full shadow mode. No scans, no trace." Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Keel, looked nervous. "Just to confirm, Captain, this is in response to one child?" Raina turned her head slowly. "One Terran child, yes. That's one too many." At the Galactic Council Hall, far across, the stars, laughter echoed in the chambers. "They're Terrans," one reptilian senator said. "They talk big, but they won't risk war over a single boy." Another, a tall insectoid diplomat, clicked its mandibles. "Humans are emotional, but soft. They'll cry and send complaints. That's all. And yet, no one had heard from Earth since the video. No statements. No protests. Just silence. And silence from Earth was not a good sign. Back on the border station, the officer who hit Liam was drinking in his quarters. He had no fear. In his mind, the humans were weak, always talking about peace and law, always following the Council's rules. "What's one Terran rat?" he muttered. "They'll forget in a day." But then, alarms blared across the station. Red lights. Comes, when silent, all scanners reported the same thing. Unknown ship detected. No ID. Nitrogen monoxide response. Full. Blackout. Dock 17 vanished in a flash of light. Cargo bays crumbled. Drones froze midair. One ship had entered the system, and with it, the beginning of a reckoning. Inside Black Horizon, Captain Voss stood tall. "Tell the station," she said. "They have 1 hour. Turn over the officer. Alive, unharmed." Lieutenant Keel frowned. "And if they refuse?" Voss looked out the window. "And they'll see why we stopped building warning shots a century ago." The hour began to count down. 60 minutes. The galaxy still laughed, but Earth had already decided. This wasn't about politics. This wasn't about power. This was about a little boy with a bruised cheek. And for that, Earth would shake the stars. The ship with no name. Approx. 800 words. The galactic border station was still recovering from shock. Dock 17 no longer existed, reduced to melted metal and floating dust. No one knew what had hit it. No one saw the ship arrive. No sensors had picked up a signature. No warning. No sound. Then, just as suddenly, the unknown vessel appeared on the station's main VIEWSCREEN. It hovered silently in the void. No name, no ID. Just a matte black hull that swallowed the stars behind it. A whisper passed among the stations. "Crew, is that ... a Terran ship?" Inside the command center, the station's Imperial officer, Commander Threx, stood pale and tense. He had received a message from the ship. Just one. It said, "Deliver the officer who harmed the Terran child. 1 hour remains." Threx turned to his advisors. "It's a bluff," he said, though his voice shook. "Humans don't fire first. We'll tell them to wait for council review. But his advisors were silent, because deep down, they all knew. This wasn't normal human behavior. This wasn't diplomacy. This was something older. Something Earth hadn't shown in generations. Inside the warship, Black Horizon, Captain Raina Voss stood calmly on her bridge. Every part of the ship was too quiet, no alarms. No countdowns. Just the cold hum of ancient human design. Vengeance. Report. Voss said. Lieutenant Keel spoke quickly. The station refuses to cooperate. They're asking for time to speak with the Galactic Council. Voss didn't blink. They already had time. She turned toward the main console and whispered, Phase 1, Fire Warning Slice. In space, a single red beam cut through the void. It sliced through the station's com tower like butter. No explosion. Just silence and then darkness. All outgoing messages stopped. All signals were dead. Commander Threx screamed, What was that? A technician whispered, They just erased our signal spine. No heat signature. No radiation. I don't even know how that's possible. No one in the room wanted to say what they were all thinking. The humans had arrived. And they were angry. Back on Earth, millions of people had seen the video of young Liam. Some cried, some shouted, some remembered old stories of how Earth used to be. Before peace, before the council, there was one phrase going viral on every Terran channel. One child is all it takes. The officer who had struck Liam his name was Kelzer was now hiding. He had stolen a trader ship and escaped just moments after Dock 17 was destroyed. He thought he was safe, now far from the warship. But Black Horizon didn't rely on sensors. It relied on something older. Every child born on Earth was tagged with a genetic signature, and every person who harmed one was marked by the same systems that tracked them. Kelzer didn't know it yet, but Black Horizon could smell him across light years. Captain Voss watched the screen. The Empire had chosen silence. Again. She whispered. They touched one of ours. And then she gave the order. Phase 2. Disable life support sectors. Make them sweat. On the Galactic Council's side, news finally reached their emergency chamber. Terran warship has entered combat mode. Communications with border station. Lost. Estimated damage extreme. Now, even the loudest alien leaders went quiet. The humans had not sent a message. They had sent a response. And still, Earth remained officially silent. At the station. Oxygen levels dropped. Lights flickered. Artificial gravity failed. And still, no one on the command bridge wanted to say it aloud. They should have given up the officer. But no. It was too late. Asterisk, fire does not negotiate. Approx. 800 words. The galactic border station was falling apart. First, the comms tower. Then life support. Now the power grid flickered like a dying candle. Inside the command room. Commander Threx paced nervously. His officers were sweating. One of the ceiling lights sparked, then went dark. How is it even doing this? Someone whispered. The ship hasn't moved, another muttered. No heat trails. No weapons signatures. It's just floating. There. But they all knew. It wasn't just floating. It was watching. And it was waiting. On the black bridge of the Terran warship Black Horizon, Captain Raina Voss sat straight in her command chair. No one on her crew asked questions now. There was no discussion. Only one rule mattered today. Terran children do not bleed in silence. Status? She asked. Imperial Station still refusing to respond, Lieutenant Keel said. They're trying to power up shield generators, but their reactors failing. Voss nodded slowly. They had their hour. They spent it making excuses. She stood up. Target power core. Non-critical areas only. Let them understand what fire sounds like. Outside, in the cold space between. Stars. Black Horizon opened its weapons bays for the first time in 50 years. There was no sound, no flashy missiles, only thin red beams, each as sharp as a needle, fired silently into the station's outer shell. One beam cut through the power conduit on Deck B. Another melted the coolant tank in the server core. A third sliced open the luxury wing for off-world diplomats. All three exploded in perfect timing. Fire bloomed inside the station like red flowers in the dark. Screams echoed in the corridors. Alien diplomats ran through the halls, dragging injured staff behind them. Station Commander Threx stared at the fires spreading on the security monitors. "They're insane," he whispered. "Humans are insane." An officer near him shouted, "We need to surrender." But Threx shook his head. "We are the Empire. We don't bend to Earth." The lights went out. Meanwhile, hidden in the back corridors of the station, a Sarnai merchant uploaded something to the planetary network. The footage, the moment the human boy had been slapped, and now the destruction that followed. The whole galaxy watched, and they began to understand Earth was not attacking. Earth was answering. Captain Voss stared out the window. The stars shimmered. Flames danced across the hull of the station. "Give them one last chance," she said. Lieutenant Keel raised an eyebrow. "Even now?" She nodded. "We don't start wars. We end them." A message was sent to the station. Just 2 words. Final request. On the station's shattered bridge, the crew stared at the screen. Commander Threx said nothing. His hands were trembling now. Finally, his second officer stood up and shouted, "Enough. He's not worth our lives." She turned and pointed at the officer who had hurt the boy. Kelzer, the one who struck Liam. He tried to run. Security caught him. Within 10 minutes, a small pod detached from the station. It floated toward Black Horizon. Slow and blinking inside it. One prisoner. Bound. Silent. Captain Voss watched it approach. "Scan for tampering," she ordered. "Clear." Keel confirmed. Voss nodded. "Bring him in. Put him in cryo. He'll face trial on Earth." Then she turned back to the station. "Leave them with a message." A final transmission was sent to every channel on the station. It was short. Just a calm human voice saying, "One child. One answer. Let that be your warning." Then Black Horizon vanished into a ripple of dark light. Its FTL jumped silent. The station floated in smoke, half powered, half broken, and very, very quiet. Asterisk. The Council's denial. Approx. 800 words. The Galactic Council Hall was the most secure place in the galaxy. It was carved into a moon of neutral space. Every species had a voice there. Over 100 flags from across the stars. Lights sparkled above. Translation drones hovered. Senators and envoys debated from floating platforms. But today, the hall was silent. A human warship had attacked an Imperial border station, and no one knew what to do. They destroyed 3 decks without warning, shouted the Zarkan ambassador. They disabled our defenses like we were made of paper. The Imperial envoy yelled, "Earth must answer for this." A tall insectoid snapped, wings twitching. But Earth wasn't there. No ambassador, no representative, only an empty chair with a single glowing datapad placed on the desk. The council hesitated. Then the high speaker gave a nod. "Play the message," he said. The screen lit up. It wasn't a speech. No diplomat, no angry voice, just a quiet video. It showed the human boy Liam sitting in a dusty corner of a trade station. Then came the slap. His small body hit the floor. Silence filled the chamber. And then came the second part of the message. A cold Terran voice said, "This was not war. This was correction. Do not confuse Earth's silence with weakness. Then the screen turned off. The room exploded with voices. This is madness. They went too far. We need to sanction Earth. But others didn't speak. Some council members sat frozen. They remembered old stories rumors from before. Earth joined the galaxy. Stories of human wars. Of entire cities turned to ash in hours. Of oceans boiling, skies burning, machines hunting without mercy. Earth had been quiet for too long. Now it had stirred, and something ancient had awakened with it. Later that day, Earth's ambassador finally arrived. She wore a simple gray suit. No guards. No weapons. Her name was Ambassador Ileana Price. She walked into the council hall like it was her own house. Everyone turned. You dare show your face? A reptilian general hissed. She didn't blink. She walked calmly to the podium, placed a new datapad on the table, and tapped it. On this chip, she said, are coordinates for every Terran emergency response fleet. The council stared. These are not threats, she continued. These are warnings, in case anyone else thinks it is safe to hurt our children again. The insectoid speaker buzzed nervously. You cannot mean this seriously, Ambassador. Price leaned forward. You saw the video. One child. Not a soldier. Not a spy. A child. Harmed publicly on your station. And you laughed. Earth didn't. Some council members tried to argue. We must follow law. There are channels for justice. You bypassed procedure. But none of them mattered. Because Earth didn't ask for permission. Earth had acted. And now they were simply informing the galaxy. Never again. On the screens above the council hall, more footage played. Black horizon. Its cannons. Its silent, perfect strikes. One by one, the council chambers fell into silence again. Then came the final part of Earth's message. We are not your rulers. We do not want control. We do not need war. But if even one more child is touched, the sky will burn. Outside the hall, word spread fast. Aliens across systems watched the footage. Mothers pulled their children closer. Soldiers deleted memes, mocking Earth. Border stations reprogrammed protocols. Do not detain Terran minors without embassy contact. Some races feared Earth now. Others respected it. And far away, back on Earth, young Liam sat in his bed, watching stars from his hospital window. He had bruises on his face, but a smile in his eyes. He didn't know all the politics. He didn't understand diplomacy. But he understood one thing now. Someone came for him. And now, the whole galaxy knew. Asterisk the officer's fate. Approx. 800 words. The man who had slapped the human child was gone. His name was Kelzer Varn. Once an Imperial officer, proud and arrogant. But after Earth's warship arrived, he ran. Didn't wait for orders. He didn't say goodbye. He simply stole a small private cruiser and vanished into deep space. He changed his name, burned his ID chip, grew a beard, bought new clothes on a black market moon. No one on the outer rim recognized him. He took a job on a mining colony. He drank. He laughed. He thought he was safe, but he was wrong. Earth never forgot, especially not when a child was hurt. Across light years, Terran intelligence tracked the fleeing officer. They didn't use satellites. They didn't need spies. They had something better. The PulseNet. Every human ship, child, and crew was connected through a silent defense system. When harm came to one of their own, it sent out a mark, a blood-coded signal only Terran AI could trace. And Kelzer had been marked. A silent drone arrived on the mining moon. No. One saw it land. It took only one image. Kelzer laughing in a bar. Back on Earth, Captain Raina Voss received the data. She nodded once. Send Echo Unit. Quietly. 2 Terran agents arrived 3 days later. They wore minor uniforms. Their faces were calm, quiet, unreadable. They didn't shout, didn't make speeches. One afternoon, while Kelzer was walking home through the dust storms, they stepped in front of him. Kelzer Varn? One of them said. He froze. No, He tried to run. He didn't get far. One small dart hit his neck. He fell without a sound. He woke up inside a cold room. Metal walls. Dim lights. Soft humming. He recognized it immediately. A Terran prison cell. A voice echoed through the speakers. You struck a child. You left him bleeding. You tried to vanish. But Earth does not forget. You will stand trial not as a soldier, but as a coward. The trial was held on Earth. Broadcast live. Not for revenge, but for truth. Liam sat in the front row with his aunt. His face had healed, but his eyes held memories. The room was quiet when Kelzer was brought in. He looked smaller now, older, defeated. He tried to speak, but the judge raised her hand. You have already spoken with your actions, she said. Then she turned to Liam. Would you like to say anything? Liam stood up slowly. He looked at Kelzer. I was scared, he said simply. I thought no one would come. He paused, but Earth came, so I'm not scared anymore. The sentence was clear. Kelzer would not be executed. He would not be tortured. He would be exiled. To a Terran-controlled death world, a place with no cities, no people, no rescue. He would survive with his own hands, or not at all. Across the galaxy, people watched the verdict. Some were shocked, others impressed. No shouting, no war. Just a quiet, unstoppable system of justice. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy understood. Humanity didn't just protect itself with weapons. It protected with memory, with law, and with unshakable loyalty. As Kelzer was taken away, a small moment passed quiet, but powerful. Liam stood beside Captain Ranavos. He looked up at her. Will they ever try to hurt us again? She knelt down, eye level with him. They might, she said honestly. But if they do, she looked out the window where ships floated like stars. They'll remember what happened this time. Never touch what we love. Approx. 800 words. The stars were quiet, but the galaxy had changed. Not because Earth had declared war, not because of fleets or weapons, but because of a child and what Earth had done when someone dared to harm him. Across systems, the story spread like fire. A young Terran boy, alone in a market. A slap that echoed across the stars. A ship that came without warning. A fleet that never asked for permission. And a world that refused to let one of its own suffer in silence. Some called it fear. Others called it justice. But all of them called it unforgettable. In the city of Solara, Earth's capital, a monument was built in Liam's honor. Not a statue of war. Not weapons or soldiers. Just a bronze figure of a small boy holding a toy shuttle standing in front of a great starship. Below it, a plaque read, We don't seek revenge. We don't seek power. But if you touch what we love, we will. Come. On the Galactic Council floor, Earth submitted no demands. No fines. No territory claims. Just one line in every system's new diplomatic handbook. Do not detain, harm, or interfere with Terran children. Violations will be answered outside Council channels. Ambassador Ileana Price stood before the Council one final time. She spoke calmly. We are not above the law, she said. But when the law fails to protect the smallest among us, we act. A fish-like ambassador from the rim worlds raised his fin. Are all humans like this? Ready to fight for one child? Price smiled softly. All humans are born into tribes. Ours is called Earth, and Earth protects its young every time, without question. Some alien leaders began training their guards. If you see a human child, help them. No, don't wait. Don't risk it. Others issued standing orders. Never detain or approach Terran miners without human consent. The rule was unofficial, but everyone followed it. And on Earth, Liam returned to school. He was just a boy again, playing, smiling. But in the stars, his name lived on like legend. In faraway planets, alien children whispered bedtime stories of the human child who called the sky. Some feared humans, some admired them, but no one ignored them now. Captain Raina Voss retired 6 months later. She never gave speeches, never answered interviews. When asked why she led the mission herself, she simply said, "Because if I had a daughter, I'd want someone like me to show up." And the ship Black Horizon? It returned to orbit, silent, waiting. Its mission was over, but not forgotten, because out there, in the dark beyond the stars, Earth never sleeps. It only waits. And the whole galaxy remembers now. Never touch what humans love, not their home, not their friends, and never ever their children. Asterisk.